And welcome into Dental Profits, where today, if you are a forward-thinking office, you do not want to miss this episode. If you're willing to get out of the box, today we're talking about the financial consult. Is it your missing link? Hi folks, I'm Sean Crabtree.
And I'm Cameron Bailey.
We don't want to change the way you do business.
We want to change the way you're thinking about your business.
We want you to have better results, happier clients, and make more money.
Let's get it started.
And welcome back to Dental Profits, where we come to you every single week, as you know, with tips and tricks for you to have happier clients, better results, make more money, and enjoy the ride. Now, on the top end of this, I said, listen, if you are a forward-thinking office, if you understand the business aspects of dentistry, you are going to really get a lot out of this topic. What we're talking about today is the financial consult. This is probably one of the biggest questions that we've gotten over the last 20 plus years in working with offices and dental teams from Vancouver to Barbados, from Nassau to the Great Lakes. What exactly is a financial consult, and why is it important that we're talking about it? Now, the teaser was, could this be your missing link? What is the financial consult? Well, there's probably many different definitions depending on who you're talking to about what the financial consult is. I'm going to give you mine. The financial consult, we look at it as the link between wasted chair time and closing the deal. Let me say that again. The financial consult is the link between wasting your chair time on the one end and on the other end, actually having the patient accept treatment and closing the deal. So what is the financial consult? Well, in a nutshell, here's what it is. You've all been in the situation where you have a patient who, maybe it's a new patient, let's say, and your new patient visit is an hour and a half, whatever, to an hour and 45 minutes. And so the patient comes in, we've got time spent with the paperwork on the front end, we've got time spent with the chair side. All in all, you've spent all this amount of chair time with this patient to do the exam. We got a comprehensive exam, we got a comprehensive diagnosis. You present the treatment only to discover the patient has no money, and there's been no conversation with the patient about how in the world, can we make this affordable? So now we come to the financial, and the patient is blown away. The money blows them out of the water. They don't have that kind of money. They don't have the insurance. Whatever the situation is, now that time is wasted. Now, from a business perspective, your time is wasted. Your chair time is wasted. Your team's time is wasted. But the truth of the matter is, from the other side of the coin, your patient's time is wasted as well. Because if we could have found out on the front end that there was an issue with the financial, we could have overcome that. Think about it in other business terms, right? If you or I pick up the phone and we call a realtor and we say, yes, I'd like to look at some houses, right? The realtor is not going to spend the next 6 months driving us around looking at all of these different houses and all of these different price ranges until we've done the financial piece of this first. Get us pre-approved on the front end. There's no sense in us looking at $3 million homes if what we really should be looking at is a $500,000 house based on what it is that we can afford. There are a lot of similarities to that in terms of, your financial consult with your patients. That's on one end. On the other end, from a reinstatement standpoint. Okay, I know I'm getting in the weeds on this. You're driving down the road, you're going, dude, you're getting deep here on this one. Using these words like reinstatement and all of this kind of stuff. Reinstatement is simply the word that we use for patients who you've diagnosed work, or maybe you've even started the work and then they've fallen off of the radar and you have to go get them and reinstate them back into active status. And that can look a lot of different ways, right? Depending on how long it's been since they've been back into the practice. The point is, the financial consult, depending on why they fell off the radar to begin with, the financial consult could be If you're forward thinking, it could be one of the offerings, one of the visits that you could have as an interim between wasting the chair time, as I said a moment ago, and actually closing the deal. So that's kind of what a financial consult is. That's the explanation of it. I started this segment off at the top by saying if you're forward thinking, you're going to get a lot out of this particular segment. If you're not forward thinking, I've probably already lost you. Or if you're not thinking out of the box, then you're hearing what I'm saying. You're going, oh my gosh, Sean, there's no way in the world. What do you want me to do? You want me to, take an intake call on a new patient and start talking about money right out of the chute? No, that's not what I want you to do. But I do want you to be forward thinking enough that you need to prioritize your patient's time, your time. You need to prioritize your vision. You need to prioritize your profitability. You need to prioritize your team and your patients and all of those kinds of things. And if you're willing to do that, then you can get outside of the box and create a financial consult as an offering without, answering the phone and saying, thank you for calling ABC Dental. Do you have any money? Okay, there is a lot of different ways. You like that, Mr. Producer? That happened to me just the other day. No, I'm totally kidding. That didn't happen. Not at all. But literally, there's it doesn't have to be black or white. There's a whole lot of gray there. When we come back, I want to talk to you a little bit about how that can look. And if you're forward thinking, you're going to get a lot out of this. Stay with us. Yes, a 98% acceptance rate or better is possible. Yes, you can do it. And yes, it's not as difficult as you think, and I can show you how. I've created a course specifically to cover these topics. It's called the Dental Profits Academy. New patients, existing patients, dormant patients, exactly what to do, what you're trying to accomplish, and how to do it, and what role everybody on your team plays. Intake calls, chairside, financial arrangements, reinstatement calls. It's all there, step by step. It's online, and you can learn it at your leisure. Go to thecrabtreegroup.com and click course for more information. And welcome back to Dental Profits, where today we're talking about the financial consult. Could it be your missing link? And again, the explanation of a financial consult in my view is this. It is the link between wasted chair time and closing the deal. Now, before we broke for that segment, we're talking about in two specific examples where the financial consult might come into play. Number one, on an initial call from a new patient, thinking about that financial consult as one of the appointments that you might offer that new patient. And we'll talk about that in depth in just a second. And the other one is on a reinstatement type scenario. You've got a patient who we've diagnosed work, they've fallen through the cracks, they haven't shown back up for the work, and we need to reinstate them back into active status. Could be that the financial consult, depending on why they've left, might be the missing link. And we'll talk about both of those very quickly. Again, I started the segment off by saying if you're forward thinking, you're already seeing value in what it is I'm talking about. If not, then you're really going, geez, you probably already turned me off at this point because you're going, this guy's talking about stuff that's way, our patients will never go for that. There's no way we can ever, okay, whatever. If that's the way you're thinking, then you should probably leave now. You're not getting it. But if you're forward thinking, then you understand that something that can come as a buffer to, in between those two extremes of wasting total chair time and the patient's time and closing the deal, you're already seeing value in it, so you're wanting to learn more about it. Now, at the break, we just showed a little bit about our training academy. I'm very proud of that academy. Many of you are already on that academy. If you are on that academy, then you're already understanding value in what it is that I'm saying, because you are forward thinking and you are implementing things already where you're getting much better results. For example, we talked about the financial consult in two areas. On that initial call from the new patient and the second one on a reinstatement scenario. If you're already thinking like this and you are implementing business systems and you're learning things from the Dental Profits Academy, which is the little commercial clip that we just showed there. If you're already implementing that, then your intake call on your new patients has a different meaning for you. Your goal is not to take a new patient call and get them scheduled. Your goal is to get them properly qualified and then scheduled for the appropriate appointment. And so, because you're thinking forwardly, when you're on the phone with a new patient, while you're asking questions and gathering information from the patient to properly qualify them, you're thinking in your mind, is this a limited exam? Is this a comprehensive exam? Is this a, consult exam? Is this a consult visit? Or is this a emergency visit? Or is this a financial consult, right? And so you're thinking about all of those offers, and what you're trying to do is properly qualify the patient on the other end of the phone to figure out which one of those visits is appropriate for this particular patient. So how might the financial consult come into play in that scenario? Well, because you are implementing a different approach on the intake call, then you're asking the patient questions and you are learning what the challenges are that the patient has. The patient probably called, and I'm not going to go in depth on an intake call. We've covered that at length in lots of other videos, and it's obviously a big piece of the Dental Profits Academy. But in a short example, this happens most often, right? You pick up the phone at your office and the patient is calling because they want to know the answer to one question. What do you charge for a crown? What do you charge for cleaning? How quickly can I get in for a cleaning? Do you take my insurance? Whatever that question is. And because you are trying to properly qualify the patient, you're asking questions to help the patient get past the fact that maybe this one reason they called is not why they should have called. They should have called for all of these other handfuls of reasons, and now there's a sense of urgency. When you get the patient to that place in the conversation, very often they're going to ask you, because they picked up the phone to say, do you take my insurance? After 3 minutes of you asking questions and them answering those questions, they've come to this new realization that, wow, I got a lot of things going on. I should be coming to see you guys for all these reasons. And when they get to that realization, very often what they're going to say is, do you have a payment plan? Right? That's your opportunity to say, absolutely. We've got all sorts of plans, interest-free, through partners that we offer, and we can even go out as far as 96 months. How's your credit? Now you're getting into that conversation. Now, if you're listening to me and driving down the road, you're going, oh my gosh. You hear it, Mr. Producer. Do you hear people right now going, oh my gosh?
I can hear it.
You hear them?
Yeah.
Mr. Producer, what's that?
Clear as day.
Clear as day.
Yeah.
What they're saying, Mr. Producer, is Sean wants me to ask a patient how their credit is. Okay, think about what I just said. It's a completely different dynamic. Again, you're not going to say, thanks for calling ABC Dental, how's your credit? No. The patient is calling for this one particular reason. You're asking them questions to discover what else is going on. Do you have any missing teeth? Right? You're going through the whole process. And through that, the patient has come to a realization that, oh my gosh, I called to find out what you charge for a crown. Now I'm realizing I may not even need a crown, but I do have all of these other things going on. Now I've got a sense of urgency. I called for the one thing. Now I'm thinking there's a bunch of things. It's a natural progression for me to ask you, wow, what sort of payment options do you have? Perfect lead into for me to be able to say, we've got all sorts of options, interest-free up to 36 months, and we can even go out as far as 96 months. How's your credit? Now, if the patient says, oh, I got a bankruptcy, I have no credit. Well, guess what? If you're forward thinking in your mind, you're going, okay, I was moving to a 150 comprehensive exam based on everything that the patient and I are discovering in this conversation. Now the patient says, I got a bankruptcy, okay? The 150 is out. I'm not going to now waste 2.5 hours, however much, an hour and 45 minutes. I'm not going to waste that chair time in a patient with a patient. I'm not going to waste their time either, in that scenario. If, they've had a bankruptcy, it would be a waste of time to get them all the way through that visit, take up all of their time, and then to find out, yep, they have a bankruptcy. It's not going to work, right? So I am thinking a 150 is probably out, but you know what? A financial consult would be perfect. And that's where, think about how we left it. What kind of payment plans do you have? We've got all sorts of interest-free options up to 36 months, and we can go out even as far as 96 months. How's your credit? Yeah, I've got a bankruptcy. You know what? No worries. I mean, there are a lot of things that we can do now that a lot of others can't do and that frankly haven't been around, until the last couple of years. So here's what we'll do. We'll have you come in. We'll bring your spouse, right? Maybe somebody else that might be a good co-signer for you, and we'll just run it. And you may be surprised. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, oh, there's no way I can get that done. And yet once we run it, it's really not a problem. Let's set you up for 9 o'clock tomorrow. Now, at that point, that financial consult, you're not taking up chair time, right? You can do that literally, in the consult room. If you have an overflow chair, it's not a bad idea to do it there. But the point is, you're not wasting 2 hours or hour and 45 minutes or whatever it is of the patient's time only to get stuck at the end with the financial. Or you're not wasting your doctor's time, you're not wasting your clinician's time all across the board. This is a win for everybody. So you bring them in, right? You sit them in that chair, you walk through. Again, if you're going to do it in an overflow chair or something, maybe you take a minute or two, have the doctor breeze in. This is not a comprehensive exam. This is a quick look-see. We've discovered some information on the phone. We know that there's at least these things going on. Might be a good idea for the doctor to take a quick peek, just so we kind of have a realistic view, in addition to what we've heard, as to kind of what's going on. Now we know what we're up against. Now we can help this patient get past the affordability part of it. We can work them through the financial arrangement. We can get them qualified through Lending Club, Care Credit, Green Sky, whoever it is, and we can make this very affordable. No matter how comprehensive this treatment plan is, we can make this super duper affordable. And now we're on the same playing field as other businesses who are competing for the same discretionary dollars that you are. Now, so that's on the one end of it, right? On a new patient. Now, what about on the reinstatement side? Well, the best example I could give you for that would be the same scenario that we just talked about, right? Let's say we didn't recognize it on the intake call. We weren't properly qualifying patients. We didn't get to that point on the intake call. So what happened was we brought the patient in. We wasted an hour and 45 minutes of their time. We wasted an hour and 45 minutes of our chair time. And we found out when we presented the financial that the patient has a bankruptcy and they can't pass credit or whatever the issue is. And now the way it was left is the patient says, you know what, I'm going to go get my uncle, my brother, my sister, my dad, whatever. I'm going to bring him in to do a co-sign scenario for me, and then we'll try it again. And time has gone by. That was supposed to happen. You haven't heard anything from him. Right? So you're trying to contact them and reinstate them back into active status. But remember, when you pick up the phone and make that call, you're not trying to reinstate them for the work. It's very important. Ding, ding, ding. This is what we call a bonus sentence, Mr. Producer. This is a bonus sentence. News alert. You need to write this down. When you're calling to reinstate a patient, you can't think in a tunnel and go, my goal is to get them back to do the work. No. You got to be thinking more broadly. When I'm picking up the phone to call this person, again, I've got several different visits that I can offer. Just like on the intake call, but this is a reinstatement scenario. Before I make the call, I'm going to look in the patient's account and figure out how long has it been since they've been here, what was going on, and how was it last left with the financial, right? And so I'm thinking about all the different appointments that this could be. If somebody has been out If somebody has not come back in like a year and a half and we diagnosed a whole bunch of work, then I'm thinking in my mind, the work's not been done. When I call this patient, the chances are pretty good that there's more work than what we originally diagnosed that could be done here, right? And so I don't know what that is. That's a big if. So I still know when I look at the account, though, the last big challenge was the financial. That's where we got stuck. They were supposed to contact us back. It fell off the radar. We didn't follow up. Now I'm going to call them. So I'm thinking, obviously, the best choice is not to try to reinstate this patient for a 150 because the hangup was the financial, right? So instead, I'm going to get them back on the phone, and my goal is going to be to bring them in for a financial consult. Again, maybe like that intake call example a moment ago, perhaps I put them in an overflow chair and let the doctor take a quick peek just so we can see what's going on so that we know what it is. But anyway, this is what I'm thinking before I make the call, right? I'm thinking in my mind this is going to be a financial consult. The goal is the same. I'm going to ask the questions. It's been a year and a half since we talked to the patient. I'm going to call the patient, introduce myself, ask the open-ended questions. We're going to find out as much as we can and help the patient come along with us on this journey so that they come to a realization where hopefully they ask me. So, the last time I was here, I was worried about money. Do you have any payment plans? As a matter of fact, we got a lot of new things that we can do that we weren't able to do the last time you were here. We can go out as far as 96 months now, and make it really affordable. Why don't we do this? Why don't we bring you, let's bring your spouse, and let's bring anybody else that you think might be a great co-signer. Let's work out the financials first. We'll let the doctor take a quick peek, take a look at it. Then we'll know what we're up against. And once we get that laid out in a way that's affordable, now we can move forward and really get a treatment plan that's based in where it is that you want to go, right? It's a win for the patient. It's a win for you. It's a win for your team. It's a win for your bottom line profitability. Remember, if that chair time is taken up with something that doesn't pan out, that chair time is lost forever. And that same chair time that was just taken up could have been taken up with somebody who was properly qualified to begin with. The whole idea is the financial consult can be a link between wasted patient time, wasted chair time, and actually closing the deal. Again, you got to be forward thinking to be able to think this. And I know many of you guys are forward thinking and you're already thinking about this. Man, I'm seeing a lot of patients. I'm swinging the bat a lot of times, but we're only hitting the ball a few times and we're wasting a lot of our effort and energy and time in the process. The financial consult is absolutely one of the things that you might implement. Now, if you're listening to this and you're going, you know what, that makes total sense, but we're not there yet. I see it, Sean, but we're not there yet. We're not in the mindset of properly qualifying patients on the intake call. We don't even have a systematic approach as to how we look for reinstatement. Then reach out to us. Give us a call. We'd be glad to support you. You can find us at thecrabtreegroup.com. That's the best place, Mr. Producer, right? You can find us at thecrabtreegroup.com. If you need help, email, ask a question. We'll be glad to support you, right? Whatever the help is you need. You got the Dental Profits Academy. You can reach out to us, for training, however that looks, or if you just need some free advice. At the end of the day, it's about you having happier clients, better results, making more money, and that's what I want for you. Also, I want you to enjoy the ride. I missed that one, Mr. Producer. It's about happier clients, better results, making more money, and you enjoying the ride. And that's what we sincerely want for you here at the Crabtree Group. Reach out to us. I agree, if you're not quite there, then the concept of a financial consult is probably, really sort of, blowing your mind at this point. But remember, there are so many things that you can get into place to support your vision, your patients, your team, and your bottom line profitability. And if you see value in it, the financial consult can certainly be one of those. I'm Sean, and I want to thank you for joining us on the Dental Profits webinar series, where we come to you every single Friday, again, with tips and tricks for you to have happier clients, better results, making more money, and certainly enjoying the ride. Hope you have a great weekend. I'm Sean. I'll see you next time.